Greetings everyone, and today I decided to get adventurous and challenge myself to a particularly huge camera lens, so I present to you Exhibit A, the Sigma 500mm f4 DG HSM Sports. Brought out in 2016, this is an older lens now, designed for digital SLR camera systems, so why am I testing it out? Simply, if you want a super telephoto lens with a bright maximum aperture, which is still relatively modern, then at $6,000 this is one of the best value available. Also, well, I fancied a bit of wildlife photography. I'd like to thank Sigma UK for loaning this lens to me for a couple of weeks for testing, although as usual, this is a totally independent review. Lenses like this are excellent for two things, sport and wildlife photography, giving you lots of telephoto power for a compressed field of view, combined with that lovely bright aperture of f4 for getting some seriously out of focus backgrounds and snappy shutter speeds to match. Very, very useful for certain applications. The disadvantage of all those is that, unless the lens is of a special design with some kind of Fresnel optics, it ends up being enormous, and that is indeed the case here. The lens may well have huge potential, but at nearly 3.5 kilograms, it's also a huge pain to carry around with you. Okay, it's actually not much heavier than Canon's equivalent 500mm f4 lens, but still, this thing is not for the faint of heart, and while it is quite possible to shoot handheld with it, it's also very difficult to do so, and you'll be wanting to pack a heavy-duty tripod to go with you. This thing really is more for sports photographers than casual wildlife shooting. There, you have been warned. The lens's body is metallic, tough, and as I mentioned, very heavy. It'll survive a knock or two though, here and there. The rear has a generous weather sealing gasket to it. It also has a rear slot for insertable 46mm filters. Then you get a number of controls for autofocus presetting, if that kind of thing is your bag, as well as a very heavy-duty metallic tripod mount, which is particularly well designed, being easily adjustable with a rubber trim to its top surface. Then comes a number of focus and image stabilization, or OS, controls. The image stabilization is customizable with Sigma's USB dock and can be set to fully stabilize your image or just stabilize the vertical axis for when you're panning left and right. As you can see here, when shooting handheld, the stabilization doesn't really help that much because the lens is just so darn heavy that your arms will be shaking all over the place. It is at least still making a small difference though. The lens's autofocus motor is silent, fairly accurate, and just averagely fast. The performance will be quick enough for tracking sports players, but Nikon, Sony's and Canon's lenses will perform faster and more confidently. This lens's broad, rubberized manual focus ring turns smoothly enough, although on my copy of the lens, which I think has seen some heavy use, it creaked and moaned a little when turned too quickly. Here you can see that the lens displays a little focus breathing, zooming in a bit when you focus more closely to your subject. The lens comes with a large screw-on lens hood which, as is common on a super telephoto optic, also acts as the lens cap when mounted in reverse. Also worth noting is that the lens comes in an excellent quality specialized carry case, which apparently tastes good to lemurs, as you can see. If you take out the foam at the top of it, you can leave your camera attached to the lens in the case, which is super convenient. Overall, well, the lens's build quality is absolutely excellent and it has all the features you'd expect on a modern super telephoto, but its image stabilization and autofocus are a little behind the times nowadays, doing just well enough. Let's take a look at image quality then. I'll be adapting it to test on my Canon EOS R5 with its challenging 45 megapixel full frame sensor. In-camera corrections are turned on. Straight from f4, image quality in the middle is excellent. Fantastic sharpness and contrast leap off the image right at you. And over in the corners, well, the quality continues. What a great result here. Stop down to f5.6 for just a tiny touch of extra resolution here. You probably can't see it in YouTube's downscaling. The lens stays this sharp down to f11, although f16 sees a little softness begin to creep in due to the effects of diffraction. Still, it's pretty much 10 out of 10 here. Looking at the optics, this is 100% Canon L lens quality here. Let's take a look at distortion and vignetting now. The excellent news is that there's really nothing to see here, no real distortion, and even at f4, no noticeable vignetting, although if you do stop down to f5.6, those corners do look just a touch brighter. The lens's minimum focus distance is a rather long 3.5 meters. That's pretty far, but still, at this focal length, it does offer okay magnification. At f4, close-up image quality is a little softer than at normal distances, however at f5.6 that excellent sharpness returns. Let's see how the lens works against bright light. The answer is very, very well. Any kind of flaring here is absolutely minimal. This is as good as it gets. And finally, let's take a look at the quality of this lens's bokeh. Super-telephoto lenses from the past 30 years or so never really struggle in this respect, and the Sigma is no different. Backgrounds always look lovely and soft here. Overall, the optical results of this Sigma lens are absolutely superb, and for the majority of people, that's all they'll want to know. The lens presents itself as a very good value for money offering, but it's showing its age in respect to its very heavy weight and its only average autofocus and image stabilization. Newer lenses can do better. For example, Canon's newest 600mm f4 lens weighs even less than this monster. But then again, that Canon lens will cost you over twice as much money, literally. So the Sigma 500mm f4 DG HSM Sports retains its crown as a bit of a value king. For those who are ready to handle its heavy weight one way or another, then because of its spectacular optics, it certainly comes highly recommended. Gah, it's a long time since I've tested such a monster of a lens. It's a lot of hard work to do, seriously. I do hope you enjoyed this review. If you find these videos helpful, then be sure to check out my Patreon page down in the description below. There, supporters of this channel get access to all kinds of weird and wonderful exclusive bonus content that I love to put together as a way of saying thank you for your generosity. Take care, everyone.